Welcome, students. If you are watching this right now, then it means that you need to complete your introduction, and maybe you need a little bit of help. So here we go. Your introduction is going to start with your hook. If you're on this, it means that you have done your hook practice, and your hook practice had 2 hooks that you practiced writing, maybe a question, maybe a quote. You're going to choose one of those. I'm not going to make you do a third quote or a third hook. So you're going to choose one of those hooks, and you're going to put that hook right here where it says hook. Okay. Now, the second part of an introduction is going to introduce the topic. And to appropriately introduce the topic, you want to show what both sides of the topic are saying. So in the second part right here, in part number 2, it says introduce the topic. You're going to choose one of the sentence stems below, A, B, C, or D. You're going to choose the one that you like the best. There is no right or wrong. So you could say, some people think this, but I believe. You could say blank is a hotly contested issue. So if you're talking about dress code, you'd say school dress code or school uniform is a hotly contested issue because some people think we shouldn't have dress codes and some people think, however, others argue that we 100% need them. You could say the death penalty is a complicated issue because it deals with right and wrong. But this argument is misguided because what's the other side? There is no right and wrong because people are not right in order to pick who gets to live and who gets to die. You could say athletes, celebrities, and athletes making a lot of money is a complicated issue because some people feel they deserve it. But this argument is misguided because. Now, obviously, you would use that hook and you would add what you believe at the other end. So you're going to put the opposite of what you believe first, and then you redirect the reader by saying, but this argument's misguided because, and then you put your position and your belief. You might believe that blank is true. You might believe that uniforms help students in school, but the truth of the matter is that they don't. So you want to just outline both sides of the argument, and you can use any one of those, but just one. So you're going to practice putting that down below. Now, in my examples, I had talked about organized competitive sports for students, for children, for young children, not children your age, not students your age, but for young children, like kids who are my age, like 7, 8, 6, organized and competitive. And I would argue it's wrong. So it might sound something like this. Here's my example. You might believe that organized competitive sports is appropriate for young children, but this argument is misguided because it does. Now, what you say at the end of that will depend on what you're going to say in your essay. So this one is a little bit more of a sophisticated discussion of the topic because you want to know what your essay is going to say. So I know in my essay, one of the things I'd say is because it creates burnout, because it creates burnout in children at a very young age. Okay, so I had my hook, which would be whatever hook you chose, something to get people in. Do you believe that young children should be treated like athletes? That could be the hook. Or that like superstar athletes, that could be the hook. Now, the next thing is, why is this important? Why does it matter? Is there a social relevance? Is there a background that you need to explain? If you are talking about uniforms at AAE, it matters because they're about to make these decisions. And so it might be good for the administration making decisions to take into consideration student voice. So you could say something like, this matters right now because they're making decisions about what will happen in the fall. And I attend this school and I want my voice to be heard. You could also say this matters if you want to zoom it out a little bit, the idea of uniforms, this matters because daily there's students who feel uncomfortable in their uniform that they have to wear. They're being forced to wear uniforms that they feel uncomfortable and unattractive, or they feel like they're not being able to express themselves, and they daily show up to school feeling off in their own bodies. And so it's important that we talk about this now. Now, if it's something where there's a little bit of background needed, like if you're doing the slave reparations, you might want to add some background so that a person who maybe doesn't know about that topic will learn a little bit about that. Did you know the country, when slaves were originally released from slavery, that the country had promised them certain things? Hundreds of years later, they still haven't received what they were promised. And today, it's a hot debate whether or not those payments should be made to their descendants. So that would just set up what the background is of the slave reparations if you're choosing to do that one. The last is very simply your position, and that is whatever the debate is: uniforms, the death penalty, celebrity and athlete salaries, slave reparations. What's the other one? I forget. Whatever it is, you're going to state what your position is. So I personally believe this. All these things are true, and here's my position. Then you would take and you would put all that together. So I would very simply, and I know I didn't fill this in completely, I would copy this and I would paste it down below. And then you take out all of the sentence leads that I included, and you would be left with a whole paragraph. The reason I want you to do that is because when you go to then put this together at the end and add it to your body paragraph page for your final draft, you have the whole introduction all ready to go, and it's already together in paragraph form. So after you write all those sentence stems, you fill in all those stems, you then eliminate all of the stem parts, all the things that come before the colon, and then you squish it down into a whole body paragraph. So it's all, the paragraph flows from one to the next. All right. I hope that helps explain those things, giving you some examples. Hopefully that helped you. And if you have more questions, then please make sure to send them to me on Schoology so that I can answer them further for you. If you need some help, I would highly recommend that you seek help either at the days where it's Evening Academy from 4 to 7 p.m. The link is most likely on your advisory Schoology page, or you can seek help with the NHS tutoring on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Come on Wednesdays and Thursdays, you'll get partnered up with an older student from AAE, and they'll be able to give you one-on-one attention. If we're working on this in class and you have a specific question, please ask me. Ask me either in person, or if you're at home, ask me in the chat. Get my attention and make sure I see your question so that I can help you. A lot of times it's a quick little shift, and then we get the help we need and it releases us, and then we can work. All right. Happy writing. I look forward to reading your work. I can't wait to see.